nimempigia nikamwambia tuko GPO, sasa sijui ako wapi. Hapo sawa. Pena, come Pena. President,
I'm here as a woman representative from Nairobi. So basically, when you talk about no responses of government, femicide is the worst form of sexual gender-based violence. The one that really pains everyone is when they see the brutal murders. And what we've witnessed this year has been the worst of the worst. You know, I mean, we've seen a girl butchered because the family couldn't afford ransom. We've seen girls being lured, right, thinking that they're going for a romantic evening, and then they end up with their deaths. So we need to educate our women so that they are better able to protect themselves. But my position is, as a member of parliament and also as a member of KWAPA, which is a women organization for legislators in parliament, my take is that we need to make sure that the issues, the causes of sexual gender-based violence, which is unemployment, which is mental health, which is stress, which is, have to be addressed. And at the same time, if perpetrators are arrested almost instantly and charged, I'm very happy that the guy who, the DCI have actually said that they want to hold the suspect longer. This offense, when evidence is glaring, should not be bailable. All right? And maybe we should also think of returning the death sentence, because people feel that they can get away with it and end up in prison, and there's not a big price to pay. So there are many things that we have to look at as legislators. Of course, it requires public participation, but for me, sexual gender-based offenses should not be bailable. And this is because they are bailable because of us trying to conform to human rights standards all over the world. We need to make our own standards. We also need to guard social media. I have seen on TikTok between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. the things that are going on TikTok. It's not what we want for our children. We say we should not have pornography. It is illegal in Kenya. And yet our children are exposed to pornography on TikTok daily. So we need to make sure that as a country we make certain drastic actions to make sure that we can keep our population in check. But I also say that no woman should die. And majority of the cases that we are seeing are actually domestic. It's a husband or a known person killing a woman. So this, again, we can legislate, but what happens in the domestic houses? We need to tell women that when the situation at home becomes dire, you need to get out to protect yourself. You shouldn't end up being a statistic. So all in all, I think as a government, right, we are touched by all the deaths that have happened, and as we're here with two legislators, all right, that have joined the work today, we've got Catherine Newman, we've got Amina here, so they will also add the voice of Parliament and the Senate.
Mheshimiwa, just a quick one, as KWAPA and as women leaders, maybe have you reached out to the president, because we have seen he's not spoken about this matter? Have you petitioned him to speak about it?
Well, I mean, first of all, I have spoken to a few CSs and said that the president's voice needs to be heard on this. I'm proud that our party leader, Raila Odinga, did speak to it almost 2 weeks ago. So we need the president to speak to it. We need the president to understand that the families of these women who have been brutally murdered have got so much trauma, and they need to feel that the state is acting their behalf, and the president has understood the pain that the families and the women, and every woman here from the civil society and the citizens of Kenya who are here, they are all pained by what we've seen. You've got to be totally inhuman not to feel the pain of these girls being killed so brutally.
I'd like to add, I'm a vice chair. My name is Catherine Muma. I'm a senator, vice chair of the Kenya Women Parliamentary Association. First, I want to commend all of us and the young ladies for the anger that you are showing. That anger is justified. So nobody should apologize for that anger. I want to stand and ask that on behalf of the leaders of this nation, I am glad that you are angry with us, because I think a lot more needs to be done than is being done. Beginning with the president speaking to this issue, I would want to say that it is that time when, as Parliament, when we open, because we are on recess, the first law that we should work on should be how to deal with technologically facilitated sexual violence and other violences. We need to be able to assure girls and young people, even young men, that they can be safe. We need to get universities to be more vigilant to ensure that students are not dying in their universities. We want to be able to, those who are doing businesses in Kenya need to ensure that nobody is going to die in their businesses because there is no regulation. And we want to ask anybody who's trying to moralize this issue, that the moral issue here is the killing of a human being. Everybody has human rights, including a sex worker.
Yeah!
So we will not have people who imagine that because they have some silly standard of what they think other people should live, that they can murder willy-nilly. We need to be angry enough, and on behalf of the women leaders, we are going to ask the IG, we are asking the DPP, we are asking the DCI, that this is more important than anything else you're doing right now. We need all these cases prosecuted in all the counties. It's not just in Nairobi. It is in Homa Bay, it is in Mombasa, it is in Kilifi, it is in Kisumu. We want this femicide to stop. I want to thank you, all of you, for mobilizing us, and I want to say that we continue being vigilant, do not be cowed, and we need to hold all our institutions accountable. Thank you very much.
We've seen foreigners being involved. Do you think it's a problem to do with mostly foreigners?
I think a criminal is a criminal. Kenya is a country that has invited foreigners to come and invest, and we don't have a problem with you investing. But we need to be vigilant on the issue of organ trafficking, on the issue of foreigners finding easy way into the country, committing crimes, and even gloating on social media on how they're not going to move from this place. So even as we move, I'm asking Kenyans, be the civil people you should be, and ensure that we get any information to the correct places to ensure that we will not allow any murderer in the country, and more so those who want to murder people merely because they are women. We will not accept that.
My name is Amina, women of Garissa
as well as in Nairobi. We played a role in ensuring that this event happened. Not just today, but even over the last 5 or 10 years, because we've seen an increase. There was an increase in 2022 and it came up again in 2023. And from the start of 2024, it's worrying. And also we've seen the severity and the brutality of the femicide is getting even worse. If the government pathology says this is the worst kind of murder he's witnessing, I mean, it tells us we have a concern. We know that there are certain causes that lead to this. Obviously, most of them are partners or husbands. Most of the violence, the femicide that we're seeing is somebody you know, all right? So, and then now we're seeing the new trend on the internet where people are actually being lured, thinking they're going to find romance and love from someone, and this person is only after their money. So we've got a different crop of men out there. As women legislators, we're obviously paid, but we feel that this is not about women. This is about all legislators, from the Senate to the National Assembly, all legislators, and the majority, 2/3 are men. So we need to actually call out our male counterparts, because the femicide is conducted by a man on a woman. So what we have to, and that's on the increase, all right? So what we have to do is make sure that we all come together. I actually spoke to the PS of gender this morning, and she said to me that they are actually looking at a multi-sectorial approach. We cannot deal with this one way. We need to get the police involved, the judiciary involved, the civil society, the legislators, and the DCI, and the society, and the victims, the survivors, and the victims' families. We need to bring everyone on the table so that we can find a holistic and sure way of dealing with it. We also need to make sure we compute our data well, and then we also, with the forensic labs, we identify the perpetrators quick enough, because we might have serial killers, like we saw this other case recently. He had other victims. So what we have to do is make sure that the police are well funded, well equipped to deal with it. As GAF Nairobi, we're building a 200-bed safe house because during COVID, the ugly face of GBV was seen. We put police stations, we're equipping police stations with SGBV centers. We should be launching them very soon. So we've dedicated our money because I have seen that sexual gender-based violence, especially femicide, is the worst form. We've walked this journey from My Dress, My Choice to when Sharon was murdered to today. But people are frustrated because they don't see an end, justice. I also feel that certain offenses like sexual gender-based violence maybe we should consider bringing in the death sentence, because people don't seem to be scared anymore and they feel they could get away. So empower the police, educate the public, all right, and then have the men become. Recently we held a conference and I had a chance to choose women leaders to come and talk about women issues, and I said no. For me in Nairobi, I want to do it differently. This was sponsored by the Canadian Embassy together with Kewopa. We actually called all our men. In Nairobi, we took about 30 men into a hall to teach them, to try and understand. And it was really sad to hear some of the comments, like, you know, when we buy somebody chips, right, they should also not just take us for granted. So women have to start being financially empowered to stand on their own, because when they are dependent, the man feels he owns them and he can do anything he wants to them. And once you see violence, get out, report. Because if you stay in, you could end up being a statistic.
Maybe what do you intend to achieve from this war? Because there's been several.
No, I think what people want to see from this war, first of all, I could see the anger. All right, I'm in the wall with all the CSOs, 1,000 CSOs. I'm on the wall right from the beginning. GAF Nairobi has funded this exercise today with over 500,000. People are angry, but I'm wondering, why are you angry when this is the first war? I've been on interviews all over. I've spoken to it. I've called for the president's attention. You know, I commended my party leader for his statement. Today is the first walk. If I miss this walk, then you could ask, where are you? But I'm here. This is the first walk that we're having in Nairobi, and I'm on the wall with all the civil society agents across the country. And to be on such a wall which is so active is because I want to be in touch, not just for Nairobi, but for the whole country. Because femicide has no boundaries. It can happen anywhere. So every child's life is, for me, 55 women in Kiambu, I mean, that's a concern. 60 plus in Nairobi, that's a concern. So it's not about a region. It's about, or a county, it's about the entire country. So I think what we need as women, leaders as well, is to know that the president has understood that this is a crisis. We don't want women killed. All right, and when we have partner killing, we know that women are targeted. It seems too easy to take down a woman, and they're taken down so brutally. So can we have the president's attention? I know the CS of gender, Aisha Juma, is actually the one spearheading the multi-sectorial approach, and she'll be soon launching our SGBV centers, and we will also be launching our safe house hopefully within this year. So that's the intervention that I, as Nairobi woman leader, has done. But as Kewopa, it is a concern, and we're discussing it every day. So what I can tell the people is anger is real. We feel you. We feel the pain too, because a woman killed for us is painful as mothers and as women.
In the last week, you actually...
There are walks going on all over Kenya. There are walks going on all over Kenya by civil society, and legislators are participating. Here in Nairobi today, we've got 3 legislators. So we are showing concern, and we're representing the entire fraternity of Kewopa.
I'm just going to say, in the last week, Kewopa has issued a statement against this.
Yes.
The advisor, gender advisor to the president, actually called a press statement, a press conference, and I was in that press conference. And we have many others who are thinking through what more can be done. What we are saying, it can't be business as usual. Everybody needs to be shaken where they are. Everybody has some relationship with a young lady. And we want to ask the men, help us to, I'm so glad many men have come for this walk. Can you help us to fight the patriarchy that seems to be condoning the death of women? No culture on earth condemns or condones murders. So all this justification trying to say a woman who has slept with a man deserves to be killed is something that you as men who have walked with us should help us by going back to rebut what those who are saying on social media are saying, so that as a nation we can walk as one and rid this nation of this completely embarrassing trend that is emerging.
Thank you. Your name maybe?
My name is Catherine Muma. I'm a senator and vice chair of Kenya Women Parliamentary Association.
Have you received this petition?
We have been given of the Senate and all the leadership in the House. And when we open from recess, we want to promise that as women, we will make this the first priority conversation that we should have. And we are asking all of you that we represent you. So do not feel afraid, do not feel embarrassed to hold us accountable. So we will try our best, and where you see we are not doing our best, please do your job